So loud. Hang on. Goodness.
How are you both doing? How was the weekend?
Beautiful.
There we go. Yeah. Great. Sorry, I had to turn my computer sound was unreal there for a second, but now it's better. Brenda, how are you?
Fantastic.
I know I've been
Beautiful.
been crazy, but been good. How are the workouts and eats?
Um, yeah, I'd say pretty good. After we did the knee, those exercises, I was really sore the next day.
The
So
the upper body ones or the leg ones?
I'm trying to remember.
Both.
Yeah, there was yeah, I forget now because it was a while ago. I had to take a couple days break because my knees were really sore. And I know,
Oh.
part of that is good. You got to feel it. But I was limping. So I don't want to get to a point where I'm limping. Right.
No. No, I
So
don't. Don't want to hear.
I but I've since done the exercises and I think it's just because it was the first one.
Yeah. It must have
It
been
kind
like the step one. I'm thinking the cardio one, like a lot of step ups that we did that day, and it was
Yeah. But
the
I've
flight of
since
stairs.
done them. Yeah. I've since done
Yeah,
them and it's better. And yeah. And I had a workout with Omar on Saturday.
yeah,
So I'm trying to get into the routine of like what I should be doing on Sunday, what I should be doing on Monday. I'm much better when I have a plan.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Um, I
I'm being a
can't. Are
little
you?
random right now.
You what? Sorry.
I'm being a bit random right now.
Oh, I can start. I know it's Tuesday before we get crazy into this. Are you? I can stop by tomorrow. Do you
Well,
have
I'm
anything
yeah,
open?
I think well, I'm going to see Omar tomorrow at what day? Yeah, tomorrow at 10:30.
Okay. Yeah, I could always do something after and go through things, or I could take you through one on Wednesday, unless you need a
Yeah,
break in between.
probably Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday might be better. Yeah.
Doesn't go too hard on your body. One sec here. Wednesday. We could do after. Hi, Ross. I see his
Hello.
little.
Sorry.
I see his little.
I have an appointment
uh,
at 2:30.
at pardon?
I have an appointment at 2:30 on Wednesday. So before that or after that,
Yeah. Could you do 12 or 11:30 or even
I
I could
can
do
do
11 actually too.
11. Yeah,
Yeah.
11 works. Yeah, sure. Okay.
And then we can get over this randomness.
Perfect. Yeah, right. It's randomness. Um, beautiful.
You
I
said
could
you
see
said
this.
Brent, that you need
Uh,
as like a plan as well, specifically. So maybe that's
Yeah,
something
Yeah,
that
no,
could be.
it
I
is
got that.
specific. Yeah. I mean, I'm better with food. I'm really feeling
And then
it's
I
so
can get to.
funny. When you start talking about, say, like you get these either a video or something just confirming that what you're doing, yeah, you don't want to be eating processed food, blah, 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 right? So I'm constantly being reminded. And so
Sure.
I feel like one of the things I'm struggling with is just that protein. Like I don't typically have so much protein. So I'm working on getting better at that.
Yeah.
And
I'm
went to go chicken yesterday, and then of course I don't want to buy that, factory raised chicken. So of course they didn't have any good chicken. So I didn't buy the chicken. I have to find like Sunworks or a place where at least it's not, factory farmed.
yes. And I think I'm just writing this down. Don't worry. Um, the thing that I was like I liked about you that was changing about the food stuff was being more even just this first 5 days now, six days now, 7 almost a week. It's like how you're being more conscious of it. So it's like knowing, yeah, I know, right? But then sometimes it's very easy to I wouldn't say like necessarily overthink the things that are going into us, but that's good that you're being conscious of it. Where you're like, okay, like I know
Oh
I'm eating
no.
more I know my body's feeling now that we've been eating. My big thing with you is like
Yeah.
eating more, right? Like I'm even gonna give you more on Wednesday, like in a good
Yeah.
way. It'll be like, oh my gosh, this guy keeps feeding me. I'm gonna get pew. Um, but it's just that it's your body needs those nutrients. It needs those things quick.
Yeah.
And then yes, we talked about you being more like had more experience in the food world. That it's like those processed foods or those high in saline and high in salt and things that keep those things going. You really do feel, and you really do feel when the body's digesting. It's like, hey, my stomach's like it's not okay today, or doesn't
Yeah.
feel as right when I'm eating that meal, or it takes longer to digest. So having that
Yeah.
access to it all, yeah. My big thing with the chicken is I just stay away. I mean, they're always going to have like a little bit more process, and of course, like I said, unless you go
Yeah.
like the fully organic, and then they're just really small ones. But frozen is a big one that I changed. Just like I'll just go buy the fresh ones. Doesn't matter if it's from Superstore or Costco or whatever. I'll just get those
Yeah.
big chicken breasts, and then that way they're there. But by the time I cook them slowly and I do the higher heat and a short, or sorry, I let them out, do the higher heat for a shorter time at first, and then I slow bake them. It gets rid of a lot of that salt, and you can see it when you bake them that it has all that stuff coming out of it. So.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I know chicken was a big one for me. I mean, I found that was one that was there's not like well from here there's a couple places that you can try to find that get like farms around here. They mostly do eggs, right? They don't do
Yeah.
a lot of them don't butcher the or
Mhm.
farm fresh chicken, but meat or beef is a little easier, of course. But yeah, the chicken I found was I'm still looking around for that to find if I can get eggs. I have unlimited resource of eggs, but
Yeah. Eggs are fine. Yeah,
mhm,
it's just the chicken.
yeah.
I usually
And
get
then
sunworm. It's expensive, right?
yeah, I went to go do the where was the BC was even worse, but I don't know if I was telling you this too, but frozen chicken. I was even like 4 kilograms at Costco where it used to be like, 29 bucks. It's not terrible where you could be like, okay, it's frozen, right? Like it's
Yeah.
saline, you know it's there to preserve it, it's gonna last longer, which is fine. We're going for abundance of that time because we're eating a lot of it. Decent price. And then I went in there and then 4 kilograms of chicken in BC was like 79.99, like Canadian. I was just like almost you can actually buy fresh chicken for almost like the exact same price.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah. That's a
you're not
good point. Just
changing.
like fresh versus frozen. Yeah, never really thought of that.
Yeah, they definitely do still pump like everybody asks about like what when you see those videos or like what they're doing with the chicken or they're the steak and they're pumping through them like it has to go through a process that they check it and they have to go through that they wash it, right? They have to get rid of the FDA has to prove that they're doing something to the meat where it's cleansing it or sorry cleaning it or taking the stuff out of it and really kind of just bacteria stuff. But of course it
Right.
is with salt water and saline water because they can't put too much chemicals in their meat, so they are as they're cleaning it they are adding a little bit, but very minimal in the fresh and the frozen. I find it stays in there and then they shrink and then you cook.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good point. Thanks for that.
I'm curious if anybody has taken like the celery juice or like taken any of Anthony Williams' suggestions.
Yes.
Yeah, because that for me, like I really love the celery juice in the morning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just some
I
some things.
I went.
Also, the Cleanse to Heal book, I started reading it again this week.
Yeah.
Just learning more. So
I was doing celery juice, but
Yep.
it's a commitment, right? You have to buy a lot of celery. You got to be juicing it. It makes mess. It's the time factor for me. You can't really refrigerate it. You're supposed to have it like within a certain amount of time. Whether it did anything or not, I don't know, right? I just did it because he said. But he also doesn't agree with eating eggs. And that's kind of like a tough one when I eat a lot of eggs.
me too.
I do love
Yeah.
egg.
Like so. I did. I went through a phase of doing the celery juice every single day, absolutely religiously, and I did feel it. And I would feel like, personally, I would feel like the cleansing every single morning from drinking
Mm,
it. I find you have to get the right quality of celery
yeah,
because you want it to kind of have that. You can taste when the celery is not that great and
yeah,
it's been mass produced because it doesn't taste fresh and has a complete different flavor.
yeah.
I actually even went through the stage where I had, and I'm pretty frustrated about this, and I'm never going to do this again. I've actually gone through like three juices in my life, like travel ones,
Oh, travel.
because I actually used to travel with one,
Yeah.
and just so that I could and to be honest, when you travel with one and you use Uber Eats, you can get the celery, so there's no excuse not to do it. I am a huge advocate for autophagy, intermittent fasting, food cleansing your body. Your body can heal itself. I read Dr. Valtalongo's book, parts of it, because it was too hard for me to read the whole thing. I've read parts of Anthony Williams. I've read parts of Mark Hyman, and those guys are absolutely spot on. You know,
Mm.
if we focus on natural foods,
Mhm.
as also as Peter Diamandis talks about, starting with just doing grace is actually really good. Even if you don't believe in doing grace, just do it anyway, because that 2 seconds or 20 seconds that it takes before you eat actually helps your body to prepare itself for the food. You then feel fuller because because there's the interaction between your brain, your gut, and your body processing the foods and being ready for it. And how that then works in terms of it being stored essentially in the energy production capacity, the excess into fats, etc., etc. So there's a huge connection there, which is just fantastic. And then, getting the balance in terms of nutrition for antioxidants, all sorts of things like that. You can really do some amazing things in terms of how to fix your body. Um, I started to be more active, but I lost most of my weight from my food,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
how I focused on my nutrition, and that's something I want to get back to. And I find it so frustrating, when you travel, that all you get presented with is like burger, chips, and what have you, and that's it. So I
That's why
think,
you gotta bring your own. Gotta bring your own.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's why I'm going to go back to what Aaron was saying the other day, and I'm going to go back to being keto, because actually intermittent fasting and keto uh, has been when I feel the most consistent, steady energy ever, because I don't have the sugar or the carb crashes and peaks and troughs. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Sorry. Oh, Brenda, I just wanted to say I got your message yesterday. I didn't get a chance to reply because I wanted to reply properly. Thank you very much. I will reply to you later on this evening.
Love it. Yeah, I think if you don't, well,
Wait,
I don't know.
Brenda. Brenda was saying something, but it was on mute,
Muted?
Brenda.
Oh, I was wondering.
You're muted, Brenda. Oh, she may be talking to somebody else. Okay. Sorry, Scott. I just wanted to acknowledge also, Ross, you're coming down
Mhm.
and you're going to be working out with Scotty and myself. And my dad, Scott, is willing to come to the gym with me tonight.
What? Papa! I'm down. I love
Yeah.
that. Ah! It's gonna lift more than me though. Gosh, dang it.
He was on the call yesterday for 2 hours with Monica from the youth leaders.
Yeah, yeah.
The one that does all the youth leaders for Tony. She
Yeah.
spent 2 hours with him working on ways that he can adjust his planning, and told him you need to start going to the gym with Eric and Scott.
Yeah. I love
So
that.
he's
Like,
like, okay, coming.
yeah. First thing is just like, like have that. It's not even like a routine based or habitual thing in you. It's just like even if it's once that one day with dad or papa, right? Where it's like, hey, like just dedicate Wednesdays or Tuesdays or whatever. And like we said with him, it's like, hey, we don't have to come in here and destroy your body. Like just get in the habit of coming in, like we're moving, we're getting there, and then we can take that step by step where he doesn't feel overwhelmed or like, we're trying to force too much of him at one time, which I feel like he doesn't feel that anyways. But going from not doing anything into coming into the gym with us is like a huge step, and I love that. Like I'm all about that. I'm like, Papa, what do you want, man? What do you want? What do you need? I will carry you from machine to machine, or I'll put you on the treadmill and hold your hand, whatever. I love that. Um, Yeah, Ross, I think we're talking about juice cleanses, I think. What we were talking about. Yeah, like celery stuff. I love that kind of stuff. So like cleansing and the health side of it, like talking about like celery, right? We're talking about like antioxidants, magnesium, hydrating, the fibers in them that's debloating or debloating, like helps with that stomach. The thing with cleanses and stuff when people aren't when they're new to these things, right? Where they haven't even really ate super healthy per se or like more on track or rig tracking their things, it can be a lot for them to handle. So it's just like, you're gonna do 3 days or even just one day of a juice cleanse, their body just like it just cleanses, it just gets rid of everything. So it kind of resets them, which is nice and what I love. But if they're not following something a little bit more healthier to go towards after the cleanse, their body can revert back really quickly. So if someone's more or less trying to work towards that healthy gut biome, those cleanses, those juices, I say like, what first step, let's just add some antioxidants. Like I was talking to Brendan about this, is like, hey, like, get on some pomegranate juice, like, get on some cranberry juice, add that with your meals, add the celery and those light vegetables that are fibrous, that add those the things that we want for them in the morning, so that later on at night we can add that we can change and have a little bit dark vegetables and those things that we want, so that we're changing that body slowly. So if we do go towards those juice or juice cleanses per se, um, her gut biome in her stomach is already like super healthy for that. Um, just because I've seen where it's like people have cleansed, like a Ross probably knows, but this you can like first day doing a cleanse, you're like, I didn't know I had this much in my body. It's getting rid of everything, which is really good. And then you can use that as a starting point to be like, okay, next like this, now I'm going to be really on track of what I want in my body and what is in there. So if I do another cleanse, I'm just kind of helping flush those good things out as well, or bad things out.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree with you. Like food is like drugs, you have to come off it and fix your relationship with it over time, slowly doing the step-by-step approach, going straight from being massively obese to, doing a water fasting is just going to end up you in the hospital, right? And so you have
Anyway,
to go that step by step.
yeah. Too much water is poisonous too. So, I mean, there's an extreme for both sides, right? Like, so even if I drink way too much water in a day, I also can get water poisoning. So, yeah, it is a step by step. And I think a lot of people are getting stuck in. I was like, oh, hi, Gabriel, by the way. I see you there. I know you probably have some questions for me after too, if you want.
And
Um,
Tanya and Sagitta's.
oh, are they? I can't even. Oh, it's because I'm only in the
Hello, hello,
Asagi does. I see him somewhere.
hello there.
There he
I'm
is.
here, flying in
Hello.
the rocket.
Yeah,
Fine.
well, it's your name right now, but that's
Are
okay.
you actually in the rocket? Let me see.
Yeah, where is he? How do I go to that?
You
I'm in
got
the
no
rocket.
camera on, CGG.
I'm
How am I
flying
Driving.
in the
supposed to?
rocket. Flying.
Scott, while they're talking, is arugula a lettuce or is it a dark leafy vegetable?
Oh, you mean like when should you eat it?
Yeah, basically.
I
Is
know
it,
you're
is
smiling. You're like, when do I eat my arugula? It's like a in between. For you, I would probably eat it not really early, more for your lunch. I'd say good for you for that.
oh,
Depending
so
how
it's
it's, pardon.
yeah, I was just wondering if it would be like a lettuce that you'd have at lunch and not at supper. You'd have more of
Yeah,
a
I mean
dark.
it's not very heavy like in
Okay.
nutritional wise. So I think
Okay.
I would like it more as a lunch for you and for most people, just because it's just a little bit easier, or if it's fibrous like that. Because I'm thinking arugula. Um, is that the? Hang on, I'll take a look at that. Maybe I'm thinking of
It's the
the.
spicy one, spicy
Yeah,
dark. I just wondered if it was more like a watery lettuce
yeah.
or
So okay, I think that's my salad stuff. Yeah, you could like. I'd have it more for the lunch stuff. So even if it's a little bit later, like a snack too for you. So like, it's a little bit more fibrous, like the lettuce, like the salad. So I would have it if you had a little bit later at night. It'd be okay, but just because of that fiber and stuff that's in it, it might just be a little more upset your stomach at night. Not upset it, I shouldn't say like that, but
okay.
work the digestion at night. So you'd have that stomach moving and gurgling at you at nighttime. Um, and seeing that, it's like, I mean, if it's at night, if you're having it with your like salmon and stuff as like a side, that's okay too. So don't be like I have to. I'd rather I
Yeah.
can't at supper time instead of
Yeah.
having it at night. Um, and the taste is there. Sorry, dog's chewing a bone.
Okay.
Which is good because I mean, have you switched? I shouldn't say switched. Um, Finding that with that having the lettuce or the lighter vegetables in the morning and the darker vegetables at night, how's your stomach been through that?
Yeah, no, it's better. It's better when I, but it's just like sometimes we're having arugula at supper.
Yeah, and that's fine. I love that. Like, not something that's a big change where you're like, oh, I can't have it. Like, it's I'd rather have you be
Yeah,
like,
it's more like maybe have broccoli with it or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
like even cauliflower is like a light, like right. It's just a different.
yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, and having those things, but I mean, as long as you're eating those, like if the timing wise of it is not so important yet. It's just that you're being aware of it and conscious of it, which I love. It's more later down the road where it's just going to see like once you like we're talking about like cleanse our juices and stuff is that timing will help just with the aid of like how your stomach's digesting it, how you're feeling in the morning, how you're feeling going to bed, that you're not feeling heavy, you're like way down, you're just feeling full and that your body has that energy
yeah.
that we want. So yeah, there are you
Arugula.
argula. I can never. I'm terrible in English, right?
Arugula.
Thanks.
Arugula.
Thanks. It's making you both like love you. It's good to have at night. So if you're having that, the only thing I would do like more cautious is like what do you like we talked about is like what you're using for like that dressing or what you're using to like add to it
Oh,
with
yeah,
that. I'm adding a creamy dill, seasoning with my salmon, or am I adding like a vinaigrette or just even just an oil-based kind of thing as well?
yeah,
But I love it. I mean, like mix up those vegetables. That's good because then you can tell me how that's feeling for you, right? Because that big feeling of that nutrition side is like, how is that making you feel? Is that giving you that energy? Is it making me feel like, way down? Is it making me feel like I got this burst? I'm feeling good. I'm fibrous. I gotta go, my stomach's grumbling at me, which is also like, little grumbling and bubbly is good. It's digesting. Aggressively feels like you almost have like hiccups. That's a little bit, we don't want to watch that, but yeah, if it's for supper for now, I like that. That's okay. But eventually, I'm gonna
yeah.
throw it in that soup or that lunch that we're still having every day. The better thing I think you're getting at is breakfast. So I'll talk to. I remember Ross. I'll bring it up a little bit here in a bit about keto and intermittent fasting because I've done shows on that or I've done it myself really heavily, so I know about it. But the breakfast side, right? If you're using it for movement or you're using it for that exercise, then that's because we felt that when I was with you, right? Of like how that body feels like it's hungry, it needs that food,
Yeah,
needs that
yeah,
sustenance. Either before where you're like, oh, I didn't even have anything, and he's trying to make me stand on my hands, I'm not doing it. Or afterwards where you're like, you know what, I can get those glycogen storages filled up, but I need a little bit of those good carbohydrates, fill them up, fill my muscles up and kind of recover that a little bit faster where I'm not waking up and like everything hurts today. So
One
uh,
thing I just wanted to highlight is can we just give it up for Scotty and his wisdom? Like, wow. Like, this guy is so wise, so brilliant.
Unstoppable!
Like, it's just, I can sit here and listen to this man and listen, and it's just coming from such a natural state of passion and wisdom. Brother,
mhm.
thank you for being here for us all, man. Like, we
Of
really
course.
appreciate it.
Thanks for saying that. Yeah, I think like I mean, well, who else is out here? Sagitas, Ross, you guys, all you guys like I've done all like a big thing that I love about this is like I've done all these diets. Like I've done it myself. Like I've like, you know what? I've done intermittent fasting and I've pushed it to the extreme where I've done shows on them. So like Ross, I've done like just keto strictly for about 4 months, just a little bit longer than that, of doing it and then actually competing on a stage to see how my body would react to keto and intermittent fasting to be like, what is the physiology change I'm getting? What is it like what are my muscles adapting to? What is my fat doing? Like what does my body feel like? How's my energy levels? So and, I've done carb cycling, carbolic cycling. I've done, everything like that. People talk about yo-yo dieting, the 80/20s, like, because I want to see how the body reacts. Everybody's like has these experiences. And I mean, like, a big difference, obviously, in our hormones is men and women. So I'm getting more on that, trying to understand how, like, like Brenda, like, truly tell me how you feel when you're doing these diets or when you're eating these things. Because I want that good feedback loop because it's so different than how I would feel on it. Right. And that's as simple as in the morning energy compared to like that night or just how my body feels digesting it because a little bit of organs are different. But yeah, keto is amazing. I'm not gonna have it's the sustained side of it as true ketosis is a little harder as like yeah, I see Ross not okay. because putting our body in ketosis is having very low carbohydrates in our body, and that means like low to a point where it's like the good carbs, even like we're watching all the sugars, we're watching everything that's going in and going out. Um, I felt very like the first week was not used to it. My body is just like, like you're putting your body in a ketosis when having it. So it's not something you can just come in and out of. It's usually like it takes that while to get in there. So once I was in ketosis about a week, that first week was like my body was tired. I was just like, I was trying to get rid of like, the sugars, switching to fats. Like my calories are all weird. I was like, what can I eat? Like I'm not just eating a stick of butter every day. Like it was very getting in tune with what worked with me. And then if you're doing intermittent fasting, that's a whole different level because you have to get all those calories and nutrition in one meal, which was more planning, which was nice because I'm assuming Ross is like, you have a busy day, you only have one meal. It's kind of nice to be like, okay, I can plan around this. Boom, here's my meal. My body relies on that timing. If I miss it by like an hour, I'm hangry. My body's used to eating that timing at that time. But amazing because fats they're like they were for brain, they help us like the synapse, they just move those fluids in our body, right? So that's blood, that's like that energy, that's like everything that's going. Our skin feels better. It's that like nice oily radiant, our hair feels better. So there's so many good side effects to it. Um, but like you said, it's for what I experienced too, is the muscle side. So that when I'm training and when I was doing those things, I had very high endurance. I had very high cardiovascular health because I was having those high fats. Like I felt like I could run forever. I felt like my body would move. My joints were lubricated. I was like, I feel unstoppable. This is great. And then I go pick up a weight, and then I just have no like that glycogen storage, right? So I couldn't do very many, and I just felt, or sorry, I couldn't, the weight side of the heavy side, I couldn't do very many, but the rep side, I could just like crush it. I was like, I could pick a five up and run forever. But if I tried to pick up a 50 and really engage that muscle belly side, that's where I felt a little more tired. So yeah, it does. We can't target per se fat in our body, right? Our body is this mechanism that it's efficient. Our body it's efficient and it knows what it's doing, but it also takes the easiest way, which is kind of like, oh, it's going to do. It's like, well, that's where people talk about intermittent fasting. If I'm storing on all these calories and I have all this fat in my body, not always bad fat necessarily, but whatever I have that I'm storing on to is by the time I get to that food, it's gonna want all that food to absorb. So if I'm not eating the healthiest, if I'm eating just, like mix between, let's say, processed junk food, high carbs, saturated carbs, it's gonna just take it all in because it's been hungry and fasted for the last 24 hours. So doing that, and the next time it's going to hold on to all that. So if I store more fat or more calories, like say I'm at that higher calorie amount, it's just going to hold on to all of it. And then I'm going to be like, oh, okay, my body's like, I need this for the next day. So really taking that time to like dial in that one meal where it's like, I know I'm getting that all my macros and micronutrients are getting hit, my calories are being hit. And I know there's not, it's the good food that's coming in. So there's really good benefits to keto. I mean, sustained long-term, Ross, it's just kind of, you know, it's good because, like I said, you're not targeting fat. Like everybody's like, well, I do have the good fats in my body. It's going to target those bad fats, but it's just that your body's getting more efficient if we have more good fats in our body. Again, it's just knowing how to be that proper machine that it is. It will target more of that fat because it's like, well, I have good fats. I don't need this crappy fat, like those carbohydrates, those storage cells. So I get very lean and I lose a lot of that fat and that water weight because it's not worried about building out those muscles and those carb or glycogen storages as well. So it's good for cardio. It's good for shredding. But yeah, I would say 4 months to me for a long time. So it's very nice. And then coming out of it, we'll have to talk about. But yeah, if you do it for like, 2 months and you're using it to like, reset that system, really like burn all those fat that you want, kind of just turn into this cardiovascular machine. Amazing for that. Like you feel better. I woke up every day without even eating and I had like crazy energy. I was just like, my body was just like, we're ready to go,
Mm.
I was there, but
Yeah.
very easy to crash as well. So lots of water where you're like, holy, like when I'm tired, I'm tired. Like you don't get a sugar spike anymore. It's just like, hey, body's done. We're done.
I'm curious, Tanya and Gabe, about some of your energy and vitality goals as well in terms of the energy and where you guys want to head for the year. Maybe Scotty can answer some questions that either of you may have. It would be really valuable, I think, if you choose, of course.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling right now a little bit, like being back in Berlin and Germany is super, super dark here all the time, like after being 2 months in South America. So getting up in the morning, like getting all this kind of energy back is difficult for me. Today I did something a friend of mine shared with me. It was so funny. It's like the daily priming from Tony Robbins. I did that. Like that was just like amazing. So today I feel super, super great. And I just came from a run and had a lot of energy. So this is great. But yeah, I'm looking forward to go back like in 2 weeks to South America because yeah, the dark and is something I really, really struggle here. So sometimes yeah, I do like, yeah, is difficult.
Yeah. I think Eric knows a little bit. I was gonna say he definitely knows about the transition from like light to dark and what it has on our body, especially since he's, and I mean Ross, they're in such different time zones, but sleep is a huge one too. Like if I can't, if I'm always dark, it's like my body clock, my like how it's working, as you can tell, it's just like, am I energetic to run today or am I energetic that it's just like enough to put me into bed and go to sleep? So I think it's
Yeah, and
a
I can't
hey,
sleep like for 2 weeks. It's like horrible. It's
yeah.
Maybe the universe is asking you to be comfortable in the dark.
Hmm.
Maybe sometimes the darkness is such a great opportunity to discover our peace. And then as a result, when we start to go into the light, we can actually even shine brighter. It's funny because Gabe is also up in the darkness as well a lot of the time. And
10 months of the year, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
so it's fascinating that you bring this up right now. And I believe that some of the greatest leaders, they come from spending a lot of time in the darkness, whether that's inside or outside. However, it's a discovery process of our internal nature. And so by honoring that part of ourselves, and maybe like you're doing the priming already and you're going into this internal world, you're getting more energy, even more energy, so that when you are faced with challenges, because it's not about, like, darkness isn't bad. Darkness is what actually helps us refine our unique light, our unique presence, our unique essence, our unique ability to walk into difficult experiences of life or challenging ones and recognize them as opportunities to really bring our new, devoted selves forward. And so my hallucination is that, we get put into these environments to really hone in on what's so present for us inside. So as a result, we can shine as out there and shine. And I believe that energy is one of the key components of this. So really taking care of our bodies when we're in the darkness. So meaning, how are we facilitating true vitality? What is our diet like? What are we choose? Because we can use it like, okay, yeah, we don't see the sun, so we have to find the sun inside of ourselves. Or when those few hours of the sun or 2 months of the sun are available, we're sun gazing, we're spending time really absorbing that energy. And then, I mean, you're leaving to South America now, which is great. And uh there's going to be other challenges that you're going to face down there, right? So this is where you're going to be able to really hone in your strengths, because this contrast creates clarity.
yeah. Thank you.
Is there a reason, Taj, is there a reason, am I saying your name right? Taj?
Tanya.
My name?
Tanya, okay.
It's
I
Tanya,
didn't, I
yeah.
couldn't, Tanya. Is there a reason why, so do you live in Germany?
Yeah, I live
Like,
in Berlin.
okay. You have family there? Like, is there,
Yeah, I'm born and raised here.
okay. I was just wondering, because if you like South Africa and you feel better in South Africa, move to South Africa. It's hard to.
South America, not Africa. Yeah.
Sorry, South America. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Well, that's like
It's a
long-term
tough one, right?
plan.
Yeah, okay. It's unfortunate. Like we're very far and very remote. But we have adapted like this as Inuit. So like we don't have any roads out. 24 hour, it's 24 hour darkness in the winter. There's like a little period when the sun kind of moves up. But like we're gonna be dark here at 1 p.m. We're 12 o'clock p.m. right now. It's a little bit light outside, but it's getting darker every day. And then in the summer, we're 24-hour sunlight. And in different regions of Nunavut, it's a different time, but it's very harsh. You know, we're minus 50. I was just in minus 55 the other day on top of being very dark. So it's pretty tough and I'm feeling it. Energy like this, listening to you guys today is really helping me because I really do feel the pressure and I feel so, and I'm just bulldozing my way through every day. And I feel that. I feel it. I feel that it's like dragging on. It's like holy, you know. But amongst a bunch of other stuff, you know, I'm just always playing catch up, and you know, everything in life. Just, but the darkness is definitely hard, for sure. I in my head, I keep telling myself I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move. I should move. I should move. I should move. And like I'm this close to just moving, but I don't want to make it so drastic. Like everything I do is drastic. Like if I move, so many things are going to be better. But I'm realizing that I have to fix me, not I don't have to move.
Yeah, you said it there, Gabe. And the other
Yeah.
thing is, when you say something is hard, it's going to be hard. You could switch your mindset about it. I think it's just kind of what Eric said. Like there's a lot of beauty in darkness.
Mm.
It's more about embracing it than hating it or disliking it or finding it hard. Like I'm sure it is to some degree. I mean, I'm in Edmonton, we've got our challenges here, but I choose to go outside and to see the beauty. Even if it's minus 20, even if it's icy, even if there's lots of snow, even if it looks dirty, it's more of a choice about how we're going to see something.
Yeah. I find myself right now seeing all the negative and everything. So I need to and I'm like I'm doing a lot of stacking. I'm so busy with the business and busy with everything that I feel like I'm angry at the cold. I'm angry at the darkness. I'm feeling, and I was talking with my wife last night. She said something's wrong. Something's wrong. And you know, it's a new year, so usually I'm like, let's start this all over again and go through another great year. And it's definitely. So I was really I was really what you were saying, Scott. I have ADHD, so you were talking, but the more you were talking, the more I was feeling alive because I was like, oh wow, like I was getting information, and then I started thinking of, okay, I could do this to be better with my diet and this, and right now, what my first thing right now, my first F that I'm doing is fitness, and I'm trying to get down the weight and trying to do fitness in a healthy way, and I feel myself always going back to the old way and always like I'll do well for a little bit and then I'm so stubborn. I'm not consistent with my fitness. And
So
I sent you a
Gabe,
message.
I have to stop you because I gotta catch your language a lot. A lot of your language is I'm trying, I'm not consistent, I'm stopping, your language is extremely you know, abracadabra, you know what that means? It means I speak into existence. And so a lot of
Yeah,
the things
I'm like that right now.
a lot of the things that you're saying, no, again, right now you're choosing to say that that's how you are. I really wanna give you the tools to recognize that this is not about positive discussion. This is about intelligence And intelligence and is about seeing things as they are instead of worse than they are. And so recognizing that you want to do better and create more and evolve your vitality, which is really the essence of vitality, by the way, is the
Yeah.
reason Scott is able to articulate with such reason and such devotion and such certainty the certainties of the how is because he's become the who. And so as a result, this has become his nature to really express himself with such ease and grace. And as a result, it takes you out of your mind and into your body because you're like, wow, I can do this, I can do this. And you get, it's with his language that he's choosing to articulate the profoundness of what's possible. And so the same thing is true vice versa when you're speaking in the opposite, Gabe. So I just want to really acknowledge the fact that we hear you and we want to bring you to the outstanding level of standard so that you choose to step into it, because the more that you become aware around people around you that are listening, truly listening, because we are truly listening to the words that are coming out of your mouth, the more you'll start to be conscious of your own behavior, your own thoughts, your own actions. And as a result, you will choose to also participate into that outstanding behavior of vitality, of creation, of possibility, of infinite vitality, because that's our nature. That's the art of vitality. That's the conscious revival that we're here all devoting ourselves to so that everybody can walk the path of outstanding possibility.
Thank you.
Yeah, like
Thank you.
oh, I like that. I can see the physiological change in you, like just that smiling and like your and the engagement in the, you're here to make a change and like in a good way. Um, Little things, man, like I think Tanya is the same. Like when you're in that, they can speak more about the dark and the light, which they do, but like physiology wise, we're in this dark, right? So our like we use the sun for a lot of vitamins. Like, like we hear about it like the like D3, B3. Like we're talking about those vitamins that we get, which helps just like our body move, right? It helps the blood cells, the white blood cells, the red blood cells, like all those things that we need to move around our body parts that make us feel, that we're moving, we're doing something. So it could be which it will be is a small thing. So if it's like, okay, I need to work on eating better, or I want to work on just moving better, or I want to be those small little steps is like, okay, when I wake up, I got to start moving. I got to get like, like it's a big thing that people talk about drinking water. Like that's moving. That's something that when we drink water, it's getting all of those mechanisms to start moving in our body where it's like, okay, like, so that's our first sign that we need that little bit of water in the morning, but I also have to move, right? So it doesn't mean I have to go and do the crazy hardest thing in the gym. It could be like, I'm just going to start walking around and getting my body to wake up, right? So then it's like, okay, maybe I don't have that sunlight to, wake me up where it's like I feel that energy coming from it, where it's like, okay, it's dark out. What can I do to make that? And what can I do to start moving my body, waking it up? A glass of water, I start walking around, just not stopping, right? Get that body moving, get that body going. And then once it starts doing that, that's when you're gonna start, that trigger's gonna be like, hey, I'm like, I need food, I need hunger, or like whatever it is that I'm doing for my diet. So then I know I'm going to want the good things, right? I just woke up. I wanted these things to go. I want to make sure that I'm feeding it what it needs. And I mean, fats are good in the morning. I love that because, again, it's allowing all those fluids to move, right? So if you're not a nut person, there's fats in like a lot of things, right? So we could do vegetables, we could do avocados, we could do oils, we could do almonds, we could do nuts, we could do chickpeas. There's a mix, but it doesn't have to be in a certain amount anyways. It's just having that little bit that, again, I'm just allowing my body to move, wake up, and start getting what it needs and from the start, from the morning. And if it's night stuff for you, right, it could be that I wake up at 10 a.m. That's fine, right? Whatever that is that I do for that first thing in the morning, I at least know that I'm starting off that day with that energy, with that movement, with that water with those fluids that I need to get moving. Then we start thinking, it's like, okay, just get that into a routine of what I'm doing and where I want to go with that. Then your body's going to start feeling good. And you're like, hey, I feel good with this movement. I feel good, doing things. And then you can progress into like, hey, I might just have to do a couple squats. My eyes are closed, you know, I'm in my meditation state. I need like whatever it is that I need to do, and I'm just allowing that body to work a little bit harder and move a little bit more. So that's when it's those steps that you're taking towards, you know, nutrition, into movement, into losing weight. But we can't do that if we're not moving, right? From the inside to the out.
Yeah. I just need to be organized. I'm trying to figure that out. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And like,
it's just tough.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Gabe, I don't mean to interrupt, but is it possible to get some support? Maybe, you know, Scott can assist you even more if you need some additional accountability. Maybe there's a way
I
where,
need that
you
100%.
know, maybe there's a way where Scotty can really spend more time. We also have another friend, Ryan, who is going to be jumping on board as one of our vitality leaders. You know, that Scott and him. So funny, we're at the gym. I was like, you guys have to meet. And because they're both talking about vitality and creativity and how he wants to help more people. And this other gentleman, his name's Ryan, was like pushing me. The one day that I was with Scotty at the gym, he was like pushing me. I just like jumped on a set and he like pushed me. I thought I was going to pass out. I was like, you have to meet Scotty. You know, you guys got to work together and help more people because more people need you. And yeah, dude, Gabe, I think you know these men are, and there's a lot of women also coming too. And you know, like one of our Platt brothers, Dennis Wong, I'm meeting him later today to talk about some of the microbiome because he also is part of this vitality piece that wants to add a lot of value, and it's a very meaningful mission to him as well. And so I'm going to talk to him deeper on ways that you know what his needs are and things like this. But right now, I feel like you know we can serve you. We have the people. It's not about the how; it's about the who. Remember this. And right now, the who is Scotty standing right in front of you, figuring out maybe ways to really serve you. And so I know there's a lot of value that can be delivered also, you know, here, and you know we can find some solutions here. And if you know he feels or you feel like you guys want to connect after, I really highly suggest it to go even deeper into you know ways that you know he can support you and serve you. Just a suggestion, you know, whatever you guys decide, that's up to you. But like, you know, I'm just sharing because Scott has been a huge help in my life, and you know he continues to be, you know, he's really supporting Brenda too now, and Ross and Ronald, and so I just want to really just highlight him because you know this is kind of really what it's about. It's about serving each other.
Wonderful. I would love that. Scott, I just want to know, like,
Yep.
I'll connect with you later. I'm gonna have a lot of questions. I mean, not that many, but
That's good, man. Curiosity, questions, curiosity.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
You're
can
under-
share
sure.
whatever you want right now, even, right? Like whatever questions you have, because we're all learning here together, right? So
Yeah, I think so,
Yeah.
right? Brenda, I think
I
Brenda.
would just want to know, like, I want to go a lot of country food. Like we hunt still. We hunt. We hunt everything we eat. I'm really trying to get away from like processed stuff. So I just want to know. It's my dream would be like if I had an Inuit or someone, just because their culture is so different, but we're just human, and maybe that's a barrier I'm giving myself. How do I incorporate all of my country food diet with someone who doesn't know our diet as Inuit? Like I don't know. So my question is, do you know a lot about the Inuit history diet
I'd
or
have to read.
carnivore? Like
Yeah, the
carnivore
carnivore
diet.
diet is one I read about for a while and I've tried myself. I mean, it comes very different from people that like I've had friends that are like all about hunting, right? So that's like they get all their source. They have their own farm where they're just or like rent a space where they can have things as well because you know it's hard to hunt certain food groups that they want. Inuit side, I mean, I'm from like I work in British Columbia a lot, so I can actually really refer you to a lot of those guys from the bands that are really engaged into that carnivore and hunting, like that's their lifestyle, and I love that. So get a little bit more on that side because they do incorporate, you know, family and friends. It's like this is my diet, you know, and then I have a wife that wants she doesn't want to eat all the meat all the time. She likes those vegetables, potatoes, those other things. So incorporating that health side into that or their side into that healthy side as well. You're right. We are like all humans. We all gonna digest the same, but switching diets very aggressively does make a difference. So just be aware of that. So like if I'm really carnivore based or hunting based is fine. A lot of meats. If I bring in the wife that's been eating a lot of processed or like vegetables or maybe not as much meat, her stomach is going to take that time to adjust to that. Um, but yeah, I do like it. You can get all the calories, you can get the micronutrients. If anything, like I was saying, like if you feel ever low and stuff as well, you can talk about like vitamins that you might be missing, but that's something like as you progress down that, okay, maybe I'm not getting as much of that side from the hunt, or if it's time in between, you could also talk about intermittent fasting. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to. I can actually get a little bit more information. I have some friends that are really into carnivore and Inuit or Aboriginals. They love that side, and I'd love to learn more about it anyway, so I can ask them and kind of have someone refer those like good questions where you're like, if it's either transitioning yourself into it or someone else into that life, it's just like having that and where they felt the, you know, challenges were, the curiosities were, where they're like, okay, like how do I, do this for the wife or how do I do this for the friends and family? Because
I love
that's a
vegetables too. Yeah.
perfect. And if you home
Yeah.
grow them, it's even better. I mean, I love it. Like dirt on the carrot, I don't care. I'm eating it, right? Like it's all coming from the same spot. So,
It's really hard to get vegetables here though.
yeah, the sunlight, right?
So there's no farms. It's very weird. Like we were at the store the other day and there was no vegetables in both of the major stores. Zero.
Yeah.
Like no vegetables. Like
Gabe, that's
in
gotta
our
be a
town.
solution we can provide in some capacity. Like
So
that's a huge opportunity to add value and create some sort of a supply chain to get proper food up there. Because if there's energy resource up there, we can capture the energy, turn it into the heat, and take that heat, put it into the greenhouses, and that
I've been
greenhouse is
thinking about that.
sustainable food. So there's a huge that's a huge opportunity for us to create a really conscious entrepreneurship business model to really focus on taking care of the people that really creates that regenerative capacity for service. All
Yeah.
opportunities.
I was looking at all of that stuff before because I want to do a greenhouse here at one point, but I really love that you say that because I have the properties to be able to do this. I currently I don't have the smarts to be able to I know that they exist everywhere. And the government will fund this up here because of that exact issue.
So it's bullshit that you don't have the smarts because you have you have the who. You don't need the how.
Yeah, we have the who, and we could start that. My thing is I'm doing so many things, and it's insane. So I would really love to do that. I'm finding myself letting go of things that used to matter to me so materialistic wise, and certain things that mattered to me when it was all significance, and then now I want to get into things that make me whole and make me fulfilled in so much of a better way, which I would love to do. I would love to farm up here or like have a greenhouse for sure. I would totally build that. Very weird, though. Like it's like almost like imagine, Scott, you just go to the store and you're like, I need this, 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 and this, and this, and you're like, okay, it doesn't exist in this town right now. And then the plane comes in. Like the plane we have to wait for the plane to come in, and then the plane comes in, and then there's 10,000 people, and then it's like, okay. So there is other places, like there's a little shop now that ships up vegetables called Bayside Foods, and that's out of someone's garage. And anyways, yeah, strange. So
Gabe, I wanna send a request if it's possible for you on the way to, because you're coming to Edmonton, right?
I was going to, but I can't because my life was so much more harder with my newborn baby.
I was about to request some wild meat or steaks. That would be so awesome.
Oh, I would totally.
That's a scarcity, in the rest of the world. But you have abundance. It's really difficult to get everywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still like, I still eat. If anyone's a hunter, don't mean to and if anyone dislikes hunting, like we hunt, like I still eat polar bear meat, or which people think they're extinct, but they're not.
You eat what?
Polar bear.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the beauty to have somebody directly speaking from that source spot where polar bears exist, because like that's the beauty to see how much noise is in the information we are surrounded with the internet or
Yeah.
whatever, because we don't know what
We
they're talking
have
about, so we
all
don't
of
know what we.
what the world is saying and what we're living are two completely different things. Some of it's right, some of it's wrong, and that's just like that's the news. But we have everything we have everything we need to have energy. We have everything we need to. It's just about structure and doing
Gabe,
it.
something comes to me right now, and it's like I know that you have the newborn baby, and I know that I don't know how possible it is to travel with a child, but maybe bringing the whole family down. I don't know the logistics of what that looks like, because I'm just creating some sort of a solution. Because maybe as a result of that, there could be a lot of other things that we are discussing here that can open up a new paradigm of possibility into, the energy, the greenhouses, the farming up in none of it. So anyways, I'm just
Eric,
being
would you have someone? My wife's not opposed to traveling. She'll travel. She'll go anywhere that I go. And usually, like if I haven't a good idea, like and it's I need the help. And my worry is going to BM or going to talk with everybody and her not having my support, because these days are really long. They're 12 hours, 13-hour, 14-hour days sometimes. And I don't have anybody in Edmonton. But if you have someone that could, even if I have to pay a little bit, temporarily support her while we're there, then I could probably make it. I just, two babies, newborn, it's just really hard. And obviously the trust issues with just letting anyone take care of our kids or anyone supporting us is also a thing. But yeah, I would definitely look in. I really want to make it there.
Yeah, I think we between Brenda and myself, we could probably find you some sort of like a space where you can spend the whole time with the family, so that they have their own quiet space. And then between the rest of us, Brenda, myself, Kanda, and Scotty, we probably have many people that can come and support and take care of the family, to support her as kind of the nanny. So there's 100%, like we're here to serve, man, and we have infinite resourcefulness with terms of people and family, and Candace here. Candace, hi Candace, say hi, yeah. So we're all a big family here and here to serve, so that if you come with your children and need someone, we'll definitely figure it out. Everything is figure outable, always.
Always. And it's not that much, like it's not that much. We're not gonna need she's a great mother, right? But there's just times where it's like, okay, it's bedtime and they're both going at it, and it's like, oh, so I take one away. And yeah, let me talk to my wife later on.
Listen, this
We
is
do
what family does, is we take care of each other. So the most important thing that we must do is focus on what's possible, not what's not possible. And my belief is, my brother, is that if you come down and we can serve and support your family, then we can also serve and support you. And then as a result, we can serve and support a bigger community as a result. So there's always a solution here, and we are always able to figure something out. Like I said, we could figure out if we need to find a townhome or something, or a hotel for or whatever is good for you and the family, so that you guys have a place where for you and the kids and the newborn, and then everything is possible, right, Brenda? Everything is possible.
yeah, let me
Everything
just
is possible. Everything is possible.
Everything is.
and my wife knows you guys, so it's like I told her a lot about you guys, and she's seeing changes and big wins from these meetings, and um my personal development is very, 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 very number one for 2025. I don't want to be negative in any way, but I could for the first time say that my businesses are second. and I could
Hey,
say that now.
hey, that's great.
But I don't
Yeah.
want them to suffer at the same time. So, and I also have to respect if my wife does want to go. I
Yeah, of
was
course.
always the one saying like, okay, I got to go do this. And like, it didn't, not that like, she just kind of dealt with it, right? Like, okay, well, he's over here. He's at Business Mastery, or he's building a
Well, how
business
much
over
more
there.
beautiful will it be? How much more beautiful will it be when she can actually be part of the experience and see the shift and she see like she may not be able to be at the event the whole day, or she may just spend time with the kid, but and how beautiful will it be able for her to experience when you come home each night, your energy shift, your excitement, your joy, your happiness. And so she directly feels that personal development happening in the moment. And as a result, it starts to shift her behavior and also the dynamics of what's happening because you're excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. I just have to ask her, and
Yeah, of course.
I don't,
100%.
yeah, for sure,
100%.
and we can go from there. I would love to. I would love to. I feel I got major FOMO. Like I've got major fear of missing out with this one.
And it's gonna be good and you will
And
out.
yeah, because I said to Eric, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. But in my head, I was like, okay, my baby's gonna be born. We'll do a few weeks. Everything will calm down, and I'll be able to go on the plane. And our first kid was all right, and then like it's just a different world. It's I don't know. I went to bed at 3 in the morning. I got here at maybe 6 tonight, and she got 4 hours of sleep the night before, and it's starting to. And this is, I guess, family and love, and it's starting to like butting heads a bit, and it's just like, oh, you guys get it, right?
Yeah, dude. So one thing I just want to highlight, and like one of the things that I love, and all of the ladies and men on this call and that are not on this call, is I will always create a space where it's okay to have thoughtful disagreement, to have challenges with each other, to share each other's like anything with each other. Because by the way, if we can do that for each other where we're able to thoughtfully express what is in our hearts, then we're not in a real safe space. It's bullshit. It's all talk. It's all bullshit. If we can actually disagree and figure out our disagreements, then from my perspective, it's not family. It's not community. That's my thought
I
process.
and I'll just tell you, Eric, thanks for saying that, because I've been in a position with the way we've lived, with the way I've lived growing up. So I'm trying to be a different person than what I grew up with, because with what we grew up with the violence and the fear, there was never that communication for safe space to have that. So I noticed myself, and I don't, like earlier you were saying you keep having negative talk for yourself. I noticed myself, and it's good that I'm noticing, but I noticed myself not being able to be approachable to have those safe space talks because of my harshness, or and I'm trying to find the beauty in changing that as well. So like step by step, mentally I've changed so much in the last, I don't know, this is not even 10 meetings, and it's been great. So that communication is what we struggle with. The personal development is what we struggle with here. It's so stuck in within our culture because uh, of how we were, and yeah, I would. I love this place for that. I love this place for that. And sorry I was gone for a bit, guys. I had 3 stores to do inventory for before December 31st, and I went all out, gave it all to my businesses, and I had mishaps. I missed a few meetings. I missed a few meetings with Ross and other things. But yeah, for sure, this place is awesome.
We love and appreciate
Winners.
you, Gabe, and we love your heart. And I really acknowledge the fact that you are consistently stepping into a new place of possibility. It's profound to see it. It's profound to observe it. And I can share from my perspective that the biggest thing that I've had in the past.
Sorry, go ahead, Eric. I just
Okay,
had my
the biggest thing that I've had in the past is recognizing that when it is time to have difficult discussions, most people will run away.
I'm running. My wife said that to me last night. She says, I said, because last night I said, oh, this is too much. I just want to get on a plane and go breathe and do some therapy or something. She says, that's, and she openly, for the first time, she's never ever said it, but she says, that's your problem. You always run away from your problems. And then I barked back last night. This is in bed, right? I barked back last night and I said, don't ever say that to me. And then I took that back and I was like, why did I even just say that? So I was arguing because I knew she was right, but I was in defense mode, right? So I need to be a better me so I can be a better everything for everybody.
Well, it's beautiful when our beloved can see the truth and share it with us. That's a profound, strong woman that you have that's able to see that level of congruence and to be able to express it to you and feel safe to do it. So my suggestion is, instead of saying don't ever say that to me, say thank you. Thank you. What can I do better? How can I take even more responsibility of this exchange, my beloved? Because how can I serve you? Because what you're there to do, my bro, is to serve her. And as a result of serving her, you will feel so much more profound in connection, because ultimately that's our responsibility as men and devoted men, to really harness the ability of our masculine energy and create a place of such harmony for the divine feminine, so that they can dance and feel safe and express themselves without us needing to ever say anything. Ultimately, my bro, I will say to you, and I've told this to so many, is I'm okay with not talking. I love listening. I only speak to make sure that things are connected, because the connection is what matters, right?
Very much. And you remember we had that, don't leave your work in the porch. Take your jacket off, take your hat off, leave your work in the porch. And I was doing that for a bit. Well, I screwed that up a bit, and I stopped being present a little bit, and I started stacking my problems on myself, and then I had this energy where there was blame, and it's like I get into this every month. It's like great for 3.5 weeks, and then I just and then great for 3.5, and then but there's progress happening, and I love that I could be vulnerable, and I also love that I could be that you guys could hold me accountable without even really hovering over me, holding me accountable. It's just a beauty. The way you guys do it is it's just beautiful. But this morning, today, I didn't want to be in the meeting. Like this morning, I just like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm just going to work. This morning, I was like, I don't even want to go to work. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't. And, I just, that's enough. That's enough. Just go. And, after that fight, I went to bed angry. And then, like, I called her and then I did the meeting, and you can see the beauty, and my energy is different already.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Being able to stick there, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody in my town or in my city. I feel like you guys are my chosen family now, because I don't have that here. And I want to get so big and so beautiful where people could actually have that here, and they stop hurting themselves like I was hurting myself or hurting my own family. But it's a struggle here because it's very dark. It's very different. And I don't, maybe I'm not searching for it enough here, but I have it right in front of me. So thanks again for today. It's like you guys are lifesavers every time I'm on the call.
I'm just going to remind you about your word when you say struggle and it's hard. Just remember, you're just bringing more of that. You can use a different word to describe what you're saying, but when you say it's a struggle, it'll continue to be a struggle. It doesn't have to be a struggle.
Yeah. My vocabulary will eventually change. I believe that that's going to come from reading. I never did a lot of reading at all growing up.
It doesn't need to eventually change. It could change now in a moment, right?
Right
It doesn't
now.
need to eventually change. It's just becoming aware of it, my brother. Right now.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I've been aware of it, so I'm doing more reading. I'm doing a lot more. So I didn't lose my phone. I purposely left my phone in my luggage and my when I traveled to my other stores to do inventory. I put everything in my luggage and I said, here, I'm just gonna grab my Kindle or my laptop, I forget what it was, and I'm just gonna read the whole plane ride. And then the luggage got lost, and then I had no phone and I had no laptop, so I had no access to anything. And then I had verification security, like two-step and three-step verification securities to get any into access into any of my stuff. So I was reading a lot more, and I was noticing last week that I was retaining so much more things by reading, because I get stuck on watching videos, and they're good too, but reading is such a big thing for me right now. Fitness and reading, and being able to retain those informations, have better vocabulary is like really what I'm working on.
Beautiful. That's good.
Yeah.
Number one is fitness right now. Number one is fitness right now. Fitness. My family's not doing completely horrible. It's actually very beautiful, but fitness is number one. Once you fix that, I believe that's where it starts to be able to chain react on everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah. Taking care of your body, and remember fitness, like they're all reiterating here, is it's on the inside as well, right, Gabriel? Like you are what you're like, that life that's up there that you're going through is powerful. Like that darkness is making you who you are. Like you're living in that moment. You're going through what you think is adversity at the time, but it's actually making you, like, you're learning so much about yourself and the food and the people and like just hearing you talk. So like, yeah, like the vocabulary, yeah, but like you are that strong person. You are making these changes like as we speak, like as I see it now, as when we're going through these conversations, is like you just see that light, right? You are that light where you're like, okay, I need to, like, I'm doing this. I'm gonna activate this. I'm gonna do this for me. I'm doing this for my family. Like you're that biggest picture. So yeah, I mean, I love it. I love hearing it. It's that step. And like I said, starts on the inside, right? Like mind, body, movement, what things that you're doing is like pick one. Just start that day with movement. Start that, get out of that mind a little bit in the morning. Like Brenda is amazing in the morning where she can just go into that meditation and just get out of that where it's like I'm in my body, I'm in that feeling. I'm in that is fitness. That's vitality, is like
Yeah.
I'm feeling needs, right? So it's
How do
good, man.
you just a quick question, like, because I spiral down.
Yeah.
I have spiraled down. I don't want to, but like, let's say I miss what might, like, in the morning, I'll miss my priming, and then I'll miss a couple things, just like those curveballs. And I've been trying to be really consistent or really committed. Like no matter what's going on, I'm coming on this meeting, or no matter what's going on, I'm going to do that. And I seem to, when I don't get in the cold plunge in the morning, or I don't do my steam that night, I seem to chain affect myself and then I fall into almost like a mini depression. And I know that could maybe be a, I don't know what to call it, but then I just screw the day. It's like
do you mind
so
if
when I
I share what I'm seeing, brother?
yeah.
Do you mind if I share with you what I'm observing right now?
Yeah.
You're reacting to life. You are being reactive to your thoughts. You need to slow down. You need to observe your thoughts, pay attention to them, and choose which ones you want to actually express. Because
Very much.
your language is saying whatever is coming into your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing that when you're expressing yourself. You're not being impeccable with your word at all. These agreements are super important to pay attention to within ourselves. Being impeccable with our word. Don't make assumptions. Make sure to listen. Let me just make sure that I double check all of them. The point is,
don't take things personally.
and don't take things personally.
I'm
And
very
so,
personal. I do take a
so
lot of
hold
things
on.
personal.
You see, you're doing it again right now. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
your choice is to be reactive versus actually responsive. Remember what Tony says. Leaders anticipate, losers react.
Mhm.
So, Eric, I want to know.
Can I just say something really quick? Because
Yeah.
I have a
Is
similar situation to you, Gabe. I will find very often I end up in these little mini depressions. Sometimes it only lasts an hour or two. Sometimes it can last the whole day. Sometimes it can last best part of a week. Depends what's happened, right? And that's when I have to really pull myself back, and I have to go back to all the work I've done before at DWD. And it's because I get into my head, and then I get into my head stories, and all it could be is just like, I don't know, like a payment bounced, or a check didn't come in at the right time, or someone sent me a crappy email, right? And then it's like, boom. And then I go into that. And then so that's when you need to kind of get those tools and techniques of like, right, I need to snap myself out of this mindset. I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to go and do the breath work, or I'm going to jump on the call, because it's always your mind that's going to say to you, you're too busy to go to the gym. You're too busy to do the breath work. You're too busy to jump on this call. You're too busy to eat healthily, or whatever that story is. And that's because you let yourself get into your head. And that happens often, and happens more often to some people than the others. But that's why you need these techniques, and to reprogram and relearn. And like as Eric says, if you are thinking about the future, now in the future, generally you don't fall into the oh shit, oh crap, and kind of mentality.
okay.
Yeah, like I love that you said that, Ross, because like a big thing that we all have our different ways of doing it, but like overthinking is just thinking of thoughts. I'm thinking to think. Like, how to get out of my mind is like, like Ross said, like I could just be like, okay, I need to, I'm in this headspace, I'm in this depression or lost in thought of a thought of a thought of a thought. But, you know, how to get that out is everyone's a little bit different. Eric's nailing it. It's like, like you need to have that process. There's no specific. There's not like, hey, Gabriel, you're going to go for a walk today, and that's going to fix that mindset for you, or you're going to get out of that, that depression. It's like, no, like you just start that process. It's just something that is like, okay, I got to get up, I got to go have some water, I got to move, I got to go to the gym. I love, getting it out of that mind for me and Eric is like, I need to go and like physically train my body where I can stop thinking and I'm focused on my energy going somewhere else. That's, that's weights. That's for me. I love that. I love pushing my body in that way, but you're going to have that thing that works. That's like, if you just stop, right? As soon as I'm stagnant, I'm still like, I'm in my little box right now. I'm in my brain. I'm in my mind. I need to do something and to get out of it. Now, Brenda can meditate. Brenda can make Brenda's knee sore apparently for a while. Like there's things that I could do that will help that side, but it's just getting out of that, right? Like it's just knowing that I'm in my mind right now. What's this process, or what can I do right now to get me out of that into my body, into my heart, into the thing that I need that will take me out of that thought into a movement, into a pattern that I like.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I believe I'm trying to find those patterns and stuff. I I keep lying to myself that I'm not, that I'm doing, that I'm with the business that I have. I think I'm doing too much. I think I'm doing too many things actually. Like I understand that I could like do these breathing techniques, and I don't want to make any excuses, but I feel like I jumped the gun in business and just did too much in business. Where I'm like, I am actually every day just putting out fires and always reacting. As we're having this conversation, I'm like, from morning till night, and then it, like when it does that, when like Ross is saying, when it goes boom, then I procrastinate. But very being able to get out of that state is more so what of what I also want to get better at.
Well,
Can you
Learning a lot of things. Yeah.
Gabe, can you sell some of those businesses? Can you get somebody to run those businesses? Can you do the who, not how? I mean, I was a too,
I can.
late, but I sold
I
some just a sec. Just a sec before you reply. I don't have a whole bunch of businesses, but I had a whole bunch of houses that were, I realized I had anxiety over them. And so there was a couple things I could do. I can keep on doing what I was doing and go through burnout. Like I feel you're going through a little burnout because you've got way too many things to do and you can't do a really good job of one thing when you've got about 10 other things to do. And so if you just kind of look at it as kind of all right, here's Gabe with his businesses that he like, and part of your identity seems to be caught up in the businesses. So can you sell? Can you find somebody to run them? What I did is I sold some properties. I got Conda, my sweet Conda, to do all those things that I was doing, all the minutia, all those little things that Brenda, you don't need to go show properties. I can hire it out. And once I realized the anxiety, because I never ever thought I had anxiety. I thought, oh yeah, this is just normal. I love what I do. But when I really went deep and my heart opened, I realized, wow, I would get this feeling here when a tenant would send me a message and it was nasty, or there was a flood somewhere, or I couldn't rent a place. I would feel that anxiety that I hadn't felt before because I was repressing it. It was like all pushed down and it was coming out in, me being short and impatient. And I realized I don't want to be that person. I want to be a person that leads with love. And I wasn't doing that. I was really in my head a lot. It was ego driven. And so when you look and as I hear you talk and I hear about your business, and I think you're doing amazing things like in your community, but you don't have to freaking do it all by yourself. I realize you probably have staff, but I think you just take on a lot and it's coming out in how you're expressing yourself. So, just to think about that for a minute before you actually reply and try to go from your heart, not your head. And see if you could magically have a wand here to change your life right now to bring you to that happy place, to that joyful place, to that God-centered place, like what would your life look like? Would you have 10 businesses? Would you have, and maybe you would, there's nothing wrong with that.
I can have the business I have. I need some time to think on that, but
It's okay.
It's
okay.
I'm stuck a bit.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Gabe,
Let me think on it.
You don't need to answer that. You don't need to answer.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think just processing this is great. And before we go, I'd love to hear, Tanya, if you've like by hearing, because you spent a lot of time really listening to all of this. I'm curious your thoughts on what your biggest kind of takeaways have been from listening and observing all of this over the last little while.
Yeah, Eric, I'm similar to you. I love listening, especially when my mind is all over the place. Like my life is like a big puzzle right now, and step by step I try to find each puzzle. I can relate to Gabe a lot. Like it's so interesting because like yesterday my mom was saying to me as well, she said, Tanya, you're always running away. Now you run away to Mexico in 2 weeks because you want to find the sun. But sometimes you just have to listen like to yourself and be here, be in the dark, and like discover the winter. And this is like what I try to do every day, even it's miserable out there. Like earlier today, it was raining, it was horrible, but I went for a run. I did it, and I was just appreciating that I was running, that I could run, and yeah, that felt great.
The grace in the small moments. And maybe you're not running away. Maybe you're going to the sun because you are the sun. You know, like the way that you light up when you smile, or the way that your cheeks, you know, are happy and graceful and kind, is also a physiological component to what you're paying even more attention to. So one of the things that my hallucination is that we oftentimes don't pay attention to the physiology. And Tony says physiology first. So 55% of communication comes from our bodies, which is why vitality is such an important towards value for this community.
Right there.
And when 55% of communication is coming from the body and we pay more attention to the body, we do whatever it takes, kind of like Scotty was saying, we do whatever it takes to allow ourselves get into the body. We focus our energy into the communication of our body, because then if we're made up of 85, 90% water and 55% of communication comes from our body, and we focus the other 38%, that's 93% of energy is directly correlated with what's focused on, with the heart's wisdom essentially speaking through the bodies. I can feel my heartbeat in my fingertips when I'm in mudras. There's a reason for that. There's a reason, because I'm paying attention to the energy in the body. And when we're paying attention to that, we unlock an ancient sacred force within us to connect us to something way more infinite that comes through us all. So perhaps going back to the sun in Mexico is what is needed for you to discover even more of what's beautiful already inside you.
Maybe. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I do have to go. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing, and I can't thank you guys enough again. Happy New Year to everybody. Just take it easy, I guess, hey, and be humble to yourself and love yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We look forward to hearing back from you about business mastery. Big love, okay?
Okay, see you guys later.
Keep on moving.
Bye.
Keep on moving. Keep on doing their thing.
Bye-bye.
Big love to everybody. I hope you guys all have a beautiful rest of your day. And I love you all. Tanya's amazing to see you. Scotty, for